You saw it, didn't you? That moment when everything snapped. That moment when respect turned into pure, boiling tension. When loyalty looked like a lie. When Tama Tonga stood face to face with Solo Sikoa, and the silence between them screamed louder than any crowd ever could. Because, let's be real, this wasn't just an argument. This was a warning shot. And if you think this was just another Smackdown segment, then you're not paying attention. Not even close. So, let me ask you this right now before we go any further. Who do you think was in the right? Tama Tonga or Solo Sikoa? Drop it in the comments, because by the end of this, your answer might change completely. The tension didn't start in the ring. It didn't start with words. It started with body language. You could see it the moment Tama Tonga walked out. No smile. No swagger. No theatrics. Just cold, focused energy. The kind of energy that tells you something is about to go very, very wrong. And then Solo Sikoa stepped in.
Calm.
Silent. Dangerous. But here's the thing about silence. It only works when both sides respect it. And Tama Tonga? He wasn't in the mood to respect anything. The crowd didn't even know what to expect at first. Were they allies? Were they enemies? Or was this something worse, something personal? Because when Tama grabbed that mic, you could feel the shift instantly. Not hype. Not excitement. Tension. Real tension. Where were you? That was it. No build-up. No hesitation. Just a direct shot at Solo Sikoa. And right there, everything changed. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a moment in WWE where one question hit harder than a finishing move? Because that was one of them. Solo didn't respond immediately. And that silence? That silence said everything. Because when someone doesn't answer a question like that, it means one of two things. Either they don't have an answer, or they don't think you deserve one. So, what do you think it was? Was Solo avoiding the truth, or refusing to explain himself? Tama wasn't backing down. He stepped closer, invading Solo's space, testing him. You left us. Those 3 words hit like a punch to the chest. Not you made a mistake. Not you messed up. You left us. That's betrayal language. That's family-breaking language. And now the crowd started to react. Because suddenly this wasn't just about dominance. This was about loyalty. Solo Sikoa finally lifted the mic. And when he did, the entire arena went quiet. You could feel the anticipation. The kind of anticipation where you know something serious is about to be said. But instead of yelling, instead of firing back, Solo kept it calm.
Too calm.
I did what needed to be done. That's it. No apology. No explanation. Just a statement. And honestly, that might have made things worse. Because Tama Tonga exploded. Not physically, but verbally. And sometimes, words cut deeper than anything else. You think that's enough? Now he's pacing. Now the emotion is visible. You think you can just disappear, come back, and act like nothing happened? Let me ask you, if you were in Tama's position, would you have reacted the same way? Or would you have handled it differently? The energy shifted again. Now, it wasn't just tension. It was confrontation. Solo stepped forward. And now we're talking inches apart. No security. No interruptions. Just 2 men, 1 conflict. And Solo's response? You're talking too much. Simple.
Cold.
Disrespectful. That line right there? That was gasoline on a fire. Because Tama Tonga is not the kind of man you tell to stay quiet. And he proved it instantly. You don't get to tell me anything. Now the crowd is fully locked in.
Chants start building.
The arena is alive. Because this feels real. And here's the crazy part. There was a moment, just a split second, where it looked like it might turn physical. You saw it. That slight shoulder movement. That tightening of the fists. That look in the eyes. We were this close to a full-blown fight. So let me ask you, did you think they were going to throw down right there? Or did you expect it to hold off? But something stopped them. And that something might be even more important than the argument itself. Because when 2 dangerous men don't fight when they clearly want to, it means there's something bigger at play. Something holding them back. Or someone. Tama leaned in closer. And this is where it got personal. You're not the leader.
Boom.
There it is. The line that changes everything. Because now this isn't just about absence. It's about power, control, hierarchy. And Solo?
He didn't like that.
Not one bit. You could see it in his eyes. That calm?
Gone.
Now there's intensity. Now there's warning. You don't decide that.
Short. Direct.
But heavy. Because that's not just a response. That's a challenge. Let's pause right here. Who do you think should be the leader? Tama Tonga or Solo Sikoa?
And why?
I want real answers in the comments, not just names. Now Tama laughs. But it's not a happy laugh. It's the kind of laugh you hear before things go bad. Real bad. You think this is still yours? Now we're talking about ownership. About legacy. About who really runs things. And Solo steps even closer. You're forgetting who I am. That line right there? That's not confidence. That's a threat. At this point, the tension is unbearable. The crowd is split. Some backing Tama. Some backing Solo. And everyone knows this is far from over. But here's where it gets even deeper. Because Tama Tonga didn't just question Solo.
He exposed something.
Something fans have been whispering about for weeks.
Doubt.
You disappeared when it mattered. That's the accusation. That's the core of it all. Not just absence, but absence at the worst possible time. And Solo? He finally raises his voice. I handle my business. Now we're getting emotion. Now we're getting fire. But Tama cuts him off. No, you handled your business, not ours. That distinction? That's everything. Because in a faction, in a family, there is no your business. There's only our business. Let me ask you something real quick. Do you think Solo acted selfishly? Or was he doing what was best for everyone? The tension peaks again.
You can feel it building.
Something has to give. And then, Tama drops the line. The one that changes everything. Maybe you're not needed anymore. Silence. Absolute silence. Even the crowd didn't know how to react at first. Because that's not just disrespect. That's removal. That's exile. Solo's expression changes instantly. That calm, controlled demeanor?
Gone.
Now it's pure intensity. You don't mean that. But here's the thing. Tama didn't hesitate. I do. And now we're in dangerous territory. Because once those words are said, you can't take them back. So let me ask you, was Tama right to say that? Or did he cross the line completely? The two stand face to face again. And this time it feels different. Heavier. More final. Solo lowers his mic. And for a second you think, this is it. This is where it explodes. But instead, he steps back. And that might have been the most shocking moment of all. Because Solo Sikoa stepped back.
Why? Think about that.
Why would someone like Solo step back in a moment like that? Was it restraint? Strategy? Or something else? Tama watches him. Confused, but also confident. Because in that moment, it looked like he had the upper hand. But don't get it twisted. This isn't over. Not even close. Because as Solo walks away, he turns back for one final look. And that look said everything. This isn't done.
This isn't finished.
This is just the beginning. And if you think this ends without a match, without a fight, without a full-blown war, you're dreaming. So, here's the big question. Where does this go next? Does this turn into Tama Tonga versus Solo Sikoa one-on-one? Does it explode into a faction war? Or is there someone else pulling the strings behind the scenes? Because let's be honest, moments like this don't happen randomly. They build towards something. Something big. Something explosive. And if you're paying attention, you already know what that could be. But I want to hear from you. Who wins if this turns into a match? Tama Tonga or Solo Sikoa? And more importantly, who do you trust? Because in WWE, trust is everything.
And right now?
There is none. What we witnessed on Smackdown wasn't just an argument. It was a fracture. A crack in something that used to feel unbreakable. And cracks? They don't stay small.
They spread.
They grow. Until eventually, everything shatters. So keep your eyes open. Because the next time these two share a ring, there might not be words. There might not be restraint. There might just be chaos. And when that happens, remember this moment. Remember the silence. Remember the tension. Remember the words that started it all. You left us. Because sometimes, that's all it takes to start a war.